Alright, for our fifth episode, we have with us singer and songwriter Mogli. I mean, I love her music. Everything that she's recorded so far, every story that she's chosen to share from her life, I absolutely love it. Some of the songs that I love are Wanderer, Patience, Road Holes, Winter Sun, Another Life. I mean, there's so much. I love all of her music. And she was on tour for 2.5 months across Europe and America. And a few days ago, she finished that tour by playing her last show in Los Angeles, and I went to the show. It was incredible. Everyone just had an incredible time. They all came together and they were all smiling, they were joyful. And by the end of it, they just all lined up to meet her, to say hi, to tell her how much they love her music. And for me, it was such a beautiful sight to watch all of these people come together in love. And we had this dialogue right after the show. So, let's get to it.
Are you wearing my shirt?
I am.
That's
I
cool.
am.
Looks good.
I
Fucked
had.
up the signature a little bit.
You can do it again if you want.
That's
if you
fine.
can. Yeah, actually, I just want to start talking with this song.
Yeah.
Right, and it's such a liberating song when I listen to it. Can you just?
Patience?
Yeah.
Talk about it, you mean? Just
Yeah,
like
just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I wrote it in like last year in a phase where like I just had a rough time for the very first time in my life, actually. And I was just so used to myself being very resilient that I didn't really notice at first that I'm not doing well because I just expected too much from me.
Yeah.
And I was just like hurting and didn't want to acknowledge that. And then like it dawned on me and I was like, okay, I'm trying to be patient with everyone else all the time, but like you also need to cut yourself some slack. It was literally like a way to, I don't know, to tell me to let go and to be okay with not being good, actually, and to just be patient till it gets better again, because it will get better.
You know, I love how openly you talk about love and your experiences with love, right? And in one of the interviews, you did say that patience comes from that place of love.
It does. It's about loving someone that is not right for you in that moment, at
Right.
least. Like, it doesn't mean it's like a bad person or something at all. It just means sometimes like it's just not meant to be in that moment, and you just have to see that sometimes it hurts more than you like actually getting something out of it. And I just think like everyone has like a moral compass, and it just gets screwed up by love. Like you're like, okay, you don't go and like take shit from your neighbor every day, but like when you notice something's not well in like your love life or just like in your relationships with people, then you like people tend to take a lot when they love someone. And yeah, so it's about letting go and like acknowledging that like it's just not the right time and not the right space for
Right.
this kind of love at that moment.
Yeah. So is it more about being comfortable with your aloneness?
In a way, yeah. It was just like, I mean, I'm 25 and I feel a bit stupid because it didn't happen so far, but it happened now. And yeah, I just like fell in love with someone I couldn't have.
Right.
And that's like as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I did feel very stupid sometimes because like it just like fucked me up in that phase because I don't know, like if you want someone that you can't have, it's like not a very nice feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that happened for the
Well, I've
first
been there a
time,
few
and
times.
it was also very like healing and cleaning for me, I think, because yeah, it is about also embracing your aloneness in a way. And yeah, that's what patience is about this like back and forth, this like big ass battle that you have in yourself about like letting go and, you know, healing.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful things that happened to me last night when I was like watching you perform and sing and express, right? There was a moment when my entire life kind of like flashed back in front of my eyes, and not in a sad way or anything, you know, like in a more appreciative way. And just like listening to your lyrics or even just the music, you know, the entire production of it. Even when I had already let go, it kind of like felt great to let it go again, right?
That's super nice to hear.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
How do you... No, the question is not how. It's just like how important it is for you to make every track from that space where you lead your listeners to a state where they can actually just be comfortable with who they are or, you know, like whatever they're going through.
Well, I try to just like live my life as best as I can. And because I have people that listen to me, that's a very beautiful thing, actually, because I get to share like what I learned from my life in a way. And it's kind of scary at first because you have to make yourself very vulnerable. But I noticed how rewarding it is, actually, just to share my feelings with people, even people that I don't know, like all over the world. Because, like you said, like in a way, we're all alone. And then we're really not. Because like I go to the studio because I'm in a bad place, and I write a song, and it's kind of sad because it's about me being in a bad place. And then through opening up, people like get me more. And I think that's really important because you need to make yourself vulnerable. You need to communicate your feelings for someone to understand who you are and like just understand what's going on with you. And then always, like whenever you really open up to someone, they always reward you with their ears and their heart. Like they always reward you for being brave. And that's something I learned last year because it was very scary for me to be on my own for the first time. Just like, not live with your parents, not live with your boyfriend, just like be in a big town on your own. And that was kind of scary for me, I have to say. And I opened up about that because, no one, everyone has fears. I think it's just about not choosing the fears. I always say choose love, not like don't choose fear, because everyone is scared. But if you choose to be brave instead and like to conquer your fears and to accept them and to work against them. And for me, that was also like just making myself vulnerable and like opening up about being scared of being on my own. And you get rewarded. Just the feeling I had, just feeling brave when I shared that with people. And then people coming to me and being like, oh, I identify with that. Oh, I identify with this song. This song makes me feel something. Or this song helps me. Or like being in a room with these people and like playing these songs for them and feeling how everyone just gets really happy, even though it's a sad song, then like everyone, because we share these feelings, and then we're like a family in a way. Like I feel like in the room yesterday you were there, like even when I sing a sad song, everyone's super happy because the energy is good because we're just all together. And that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. But what about the times when people are actually afraid of love?
I can't really say anything to that because I'm one of those stupid people who just like does it all over again every time. But I don't think it's stupid, actually. I think I like that about myself, especially last year when something didn't work out. I was kind of scared that I couldn't like love again after that, or like that I would be scared of like loving someone, but I can. And I am, like,
you are just the reservoir of love, right?
No, I wouldn't say that, but like I'm just very trusting. And like I got I fell last year and then I got up again, and then I didn't I was scared that I would react in a way where I'd be like, okay, let's not climb any mountains again because you might fall. And I'm like, okay, I fell, it like really hurt, but I got up again on my own and like I'm good, so why not climb the next mountain? Like I will fall again, like, but it doesn't matter because I learned to deal with it on my own, and that's a very beautiful thing. Not like on my own, because I learned to deal with it by opening up to people and like having my community and talking to people and family and therapy and like a lot of things. But like I was the core of it because I decided I want to get better, and I did something about it.
Isn't it still scary though? Like I know it has to come from a place of acceptance about yourself, right?
I think it has a lot to do with my upbringing, actually, because when you said like I'm a reservoir of love, I had to think of my mom, because she really is, and she's a very accepting person, and she always, since a very, very young age, like actually since I was a baby, she just took me seriously. And I think that made the big difference, because a lot of people don't take children seriously in their feelings and in their statements. And she always let me decide what I want to do. And like that way I learned how I feel about things. So when I said, I really don't like this like friend of yours because she's mean to me, then she didn't go like, oh man, I can't believe that. She's so sweet. She wouldn't do that. She was like, oh, okay. I get that. I really like her, so I still want to meet her. But if you want, next time you can like go to your dad when I meet her. Like she took me seriously. And that's how I learned that I don't want to be with this person because she said something mean about children before. And like I didn't feel right to be with her.
Right.
And I think that really helped because she let me be who I am always. And she always loved me and she always trusted me. So like I always knew that there was no mistake I could make like to lose her love. And I just think unconditional love is not something that everyone has, actually. And I'm very grateful for that because she just, she was always there. And so I know that's possible.
Yeah.
And I kind of do strive for that also.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm never angry at anyone, for example. I'm not saying that's the right thing. Like, sometimes I would love to be angry and just to, like, yell at people, but I just can't, because, like, she taught me to, whenever something happens, to try to understand why people do what they do. And, like, everyone has their baggage. Everyone, you know, like, goes through their own shit. And literally, whenever someone's mean to you or does something, they have a reason for it in a way. Like, it might not even have to do with yourself. And, like, to just be understanding instead of just shooting back makes such a difference. And I'm just like, why would I be mad at you? Like, it doesn't bring me anything also.
Yeah,
you know?
it drains me. Yeah, like every time you're angry, I feel like we drain so much. We lose so much energy.
Yeah.
Even if we come from the right place, right? But every time, like, from what I've seen in my life, whenever, if I'm like getting to that point when I'm really angry, right? But I balance it out, right? Like, I watch it, I'm at a distance from it, then it just, like, I watch it fade away.
I mean, it's a good thing. I don't think anger is a bad thing, actually. Like, it comes from somewhere, and people have to, like, know, like, if they have the urge, then something needs to get out, and that's, like, really good. I just, like...
That's a good catharsis.
Somehow don't have it. I think it's, like, because I'm kind of scared of conflict also, which is not very good. I have to learn that. Just, like, I just run away when I feel tension, because I can't. I don't want tension between anyone. I just want love.
Doesn't that stop you from, like, enjoying a lot of joys in life?
Nah.
No?
Life's great.
No, life is great, but
ahead it is.
But there's gonna be conflict in one way or another, right?
Yeah, sure, of course. But, like, that's why I just, you know, get up every morning, try to, you know, be the best version of myself. Like, it sounds so, like, stupid, because I don't really consciously do it. It's not like I get up and like, I'm gonna do good today, and I'm, like, gonna give some money to someone, even though that's also great.
Yeah.
It's just about, like, Two Lungs. That's a song from my first album. That's actually about that. I think everyone has bad and good in them, and yeah, I do have bad in me also, and, like, sometimes it's also very fun to let it out, actually. But you know, in important situations, I think you can consciously make the decision to do the right thing, and what the right thing is like up to you. But I do believe that we all have a feeling, like the compass we talked about. We do have a feeling, and in Two Lungs, I'm talking about my two lungs, saying, like, one is kind of the bad and one is the good. And when you breathe, you subconsciously breathe. You always have to breathe.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying, like, if you just, like, subconsciously breathe and you don't notice, then you might choose the bad lung, and you might, like, end up being selfish or, like, mean to someone or jealous, or just, like, feelings that don't really do any good to you or your surroundings. And then if you just, like, take a deep breath, you have good in yourself and you can get it out.
Yeah, it's like...
So it's more like energy and just, like,
you know. When I go to sleep, it's just the last thought, right? Like, the last thought before we drift into sleep. And that decides that entire night, that entire sleep, how we're going to sleep, right? And next morning when we wake up, it could be anything. It could be any mood. It could be any longing. It could be any desire, right? How do you keep yourself empty of that?
Well, I'm not, you know, it's funny because, like, of course you ask me these questions. So, like, I answer them, like, it might sound super wise or conscious. I'm not a very, like, thoughtful person in a way that I, like, lie down and have a lot of thoughts. It sounds stupid, but, like...
No, I love it.
Because I notice that sometimes, you know, you talk about serious topics, so, like, people automatically think I'm a serious person. And I'm not, like, a joke around person all the time. Yeah. But I, like, very much enjoy life, and that's, like, my one priority. Like, my number one priority is to enjoy life with the people around me and, like, everyone. So, like, to get the best out of the moment that I'm living in for everyone. Also myself, though. It's not a selfless act to be a light for the world, because, like, it's also super great for yourself in a way. So I just wanted to say that because, like, it sounds super serious. I'm not very serious, actually.
No, yeah.
And I don't like, when you said how do you keep yourself empty from that, I don't really think about these things.
Okay.
It's funny you're speaking about mornings and, like, evenings, because I'm not a morning person. I need about, like, 5 hours to wake up and, like, to get into reality. No, that's not true. But, like, yeah, we've been on tour since 2.5 months now, and we're 8 people 24/7 at all times. And everyone knows, like, don't talk to Mogli in the first 2 hours. I don't get grumpy. I'm so raw. It feels like when we wake up, we're, like, in our natural state and we're very raw. And then I just need to, like, suddenly build my skin. Like, I don't have skin yet, and just, like, suddenly, like, slowly needs to develop until I can,
Yeah, I feel that too.
be in the world.
Yeah. Like my family knows better now. They would never dare to wake me up when I'm asleep, or when I'm asleep, like, or right after I wake up. I'm gonna need exactly 2 hours. I'm gonna be drinking my chai, and I smoke, so I'm gonna be smoking a couple of cigarettes, and that transition is gonna be like, that's a really sensitive period for me. Even if you talk loudly, I'm literally like, that's gonna disturb so much.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, like, or if the blinds are not closed, right? I wake up and there's so much light. I'm like, I feel so vulnerable during that time. It's just like as if anything can just slice through me.
Yeah, as if you don't have skin, actually.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
you're right.
very raw.
Yeah,
like
that's
a little warm without skin.
Yeah.
I agree. I like light, actually. So I don't even have curtains because I like to wake up with the light. Like, it doesn't bother me because I can always sleep. But I agree with like noise and stuff.
Yeah.
I could also never go into like downtown Manhattan, like just first thing in the morning. I mean, like, it would kill me. Or Berlin has a lot of traffic, and traffic is so fucking stressful for me. And like at a big junction when like people are honking and there's like always something up, I freak out. I'm like, oh god, this is too much.
It is. And imagine me, like, I've lived in New Delhi, I've lived in Mumbai,
Okay, wow, yeah, well, that's different.
That's crazy.
That's a different kind of dimension of traffic.
Yeah. It's like, it's non-stop. And people are, it's just not the vehicles which are making noise. The people are so loud.
Yeah, everyone is
so loud. And I'm like, I cannot be on the street. If I have to go to work, I'm like, how am I gonna do this? How like, I literally freak out. I'm like, because I don't want to wake up and the first thing I have to do is just like take a shower, get dressed, and just head out. Like, that's a nightmare for me.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, that still puts me, like, I still find myself put into different emotions when it comes to that. And like, it could be some, like, I used to be depressed, and I went through depression for like a year and a half, and during that time specifically, I had the worst time.
In the
like,
mornings?
In the mornings. Yeah. Like, I tried to go to bed in the mornings. Like, I would go to bed around like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And like shut everything out, and like keep the blinds closed, all of it, just shut the world out. Because I just felt like I was more alive during the nights, and there was more peace, and I could just be.
Not so many people. I think I'm like, I have to say, like, because you said like, how do you empty yourself of things? Or I think people are always the answer. Like, people you love and that love you are always the answer in a way. For example, like this morning thing when I'm super raw, it's not actually like they don't talk to me because they're scared that I'm going to be grumpy or something. They're just like, it's kind of like they become my skin. They also like help me get through the mornings in a way. We all have our things, of course, that we help each other with, but I get a lot of hugs in the morning, for example, by the crew. Like, when I wake up, everyone just knows, man. Like, they either like just give me a joint or a hug, basically, in the morning.
There's no better way. There's really no better way.
And they just like hug me for 5 minutes, and then like I slowly develop my own
That is so
skin.
much love, yeah.
Yeah. I have the best crew. They're the best.
Yeah, they all seem so lovely, and they're incredible. I mean, they're like, they all seem to be geniuses with like with the instrument that they choose.
Yeah.
And yeah, since that brings me to this, like, I feel like I tried making music. Like, I can't play any instruments, but I can produce a little bit, right? So I felt like the music is, the instrument is not the music. The music is always coming from within you, and the instrument is just reflecting you, right? And what makes me curious is, like, it's just not the experiences that's inspiration for us. That those experiences are not the only songs that we have, right? Because when we started exploring those experiences in a song, it becomes something else. It's not that experience on its own, right?
It's not at all, actually. Yeah, you're right.
How do you describe that feeling?
I always
of bringing
say,
something from the unknown, or from deeper depths within you, outside.
That's a good question. I always say that I only write songs with a vibe. When someone's like asked me, how do you write songs? I'm like, it's not about just the emotion or about like content, like what I sing about, or about the music. It's about the combination of all, which for me is the vibe. So that's why, for example, I couldn't write songs. Well, I could, but like I don't enjoy writing songs just with me and an acoustic guitar, for example. Just if that's the vibe of the song, that's what it's gonna be like.
Yeah.
Just like a folky melody and like some picked guitar, then I can do that if that's what I want to go for. But I need to kind of be in a room with a producer and have sounds that already feel right from the start. So whenever I start from scratch, like everything needs to sound very good already.
Right.
It's a very different approach to other people. Some people just really want to make the song very perfect and catchy with just the guitar or piano, which is also great. Then they say something like the DNA of the song has to be good, and you can't hide it in production, you know, that it's actually like a bad song, and then you make it sound good. But for me, all the sound worlds are part of the music, and they're part of the songwriting. So I actually don't like it too much to have too many acoustic sessions, for example.
Okay.
Like, it's fun sometimes. I have one today. I mean, I look forward to it. It's just an acoustic guitar and me, and it's cool to sing your songs, of course. But like, what I want to share with the world is not the DNA of the song. It's everything in that song. So it's also like the epic drums or just some vocoder on my voice, because that's what makes the feeling for me. I do think it's actually in ourselves already.
The
of course,
atmosphere.
it comes from the outside, because it comes from, you know, every feeling you have is a reaction to something. Of course, like, you know, I think if I would just be in a room on my own all my life, I wouldn't maybe come up with music.
Right. Yeah. Like the other becomes a medium for it, but not the source of it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like I feel like a sponge sometimes, because I always have phases where I don't write songs. It always feels like I go back and forth between living and then writing about living. So like, I feel like a sponge. I have phases where I'm like growing, and I'm having so many experiences, and like everything is just like a lot, and I like soak it all up. And then there's always a point where I feel like, oh wow, I have something to say. Because people ask me like, when do you know when to write a song? It's not a specific thing. I don't come up with a melody and I'm like, okay, today I'm going to write a song. It's more like an unspecific thing that I have something to say, that like the sponge is full.
Right.
And then I just go to the studio to let it all out.
Yeah, just squeeze it out, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So what do you say, like, but is that a personality trait, or is it more about just how your consciousness is?
I don't know. That's just why I don't really like think about myself that much.
Right.
You know? Like,
like you said.
When I make a mistake, I try not to make the mistake again. That's why I think about things, and I try to understand people around me. So that's why, you know, I think about situations, and, you know, I just try to be in a good relationship with the people around me. But I don't really consciously think about how I live my life all the time. I just do it.
Yeah.
And that's like the most fun for me also, because I don't know. I think because I had depression last year, and that was literally like for the first time, I just never had any contact with it. I didn't, I know there's stigma around it. I wasn't like judging it at all. It just didn't appear to me that it could happen to me. Like, I don't know why, it's so stupid, but like I was always so relaxed and like zen in a way that I just didn't think it would happen. And when it did, and I got through it, through music also, through writing an album, I was like, okay, I kind of can do anything now, because I was on my own and I was very hurt and I got through it. So like, what can happen to me? And it's not that I'm like hoping that it will never happen again. I'm pretty sure it will happen again. But I kind of found my peace with it. You know, you just have bad days and you have good days, and you might have a bad year, and then you can have a good year again. And like, the best you could do is just to live your life to the fullest in the moment you're in. So, you know, I just focus on the positive things always, because like, life's great.
Yeah.
I just try to have as much fun as possible.
Yeah.
Basically.
Through that period when you were depressed and you were writing music, right? Did that allow you to understand yourself better? Like, I know you like to understand people better, right?
It does.
But yeah.
It does in a subconscious way, because I go to the studio and then we like start creating sounds, or sometimes I just, because both of my producers that I work with are very good friends of mine. Yeah. Sometimes I just go and we have a conversation first, or like I also just sometimes hang around there, and until we write a song. It might take a half a day or something, but we get into a mood, and I don't decide on that mood. The mood is already there. Like, it's either on me, or it's in the room, or it has to do with my producer, but it mostly has to do with who I am at that point in my life. And then I write a song, and I don't really think about what I'm doing. I just like let it out. And then kind of at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a pretty happy song. Apparently I'm in a good place right now. You know, like afterwards, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Definitely. I have one song, I sang it yesterday. It's called Ghosts. And when I wrote that one, I didn't think about it. I went into the studio, I wrote the song, and I thought it was beautiful and like very raw and honest. And of course, if I would have thought about the lyrics, it's pretty sad and depressing.
Yeah.
But like I didn't really, because it felt so good to write the song and just get it off my chest, and I had a like really good mood, and I shared it with some friends and my mom, because I always do that after the studio. I just like send it around, and my best friend and my mom, like it took them like 8 minutes until they got back, and they're like, amazing song, but are you okay? Like, is everything cool? Like, should I come maybe? And my mom actually came the next weekend. She was like, I'm gonna check on you. Like, that's a sad song.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it does happen. So it does change things also. But it's mostly just like bringing something to the front, you know, by going to the studio, you just like kind of lift the lid, you let it all out, which is a very beautiful process for myself also as a character. And then it's like all out there. And then I feel better mostly already. And then I take these songs on tour with me. Yeah. And then I share them with the people. And then they make me so happy that I don't even remember that they're sad anymore.
Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? Yeah.
I mean, it does actually work for me.
Yeah.
It does make me happy to make music, or to just to let it out, because it feels like I'm starting the process of learning from my mistakes when I start writing a song. Because yeah, you're right, I don't really think about myself that much. Yeah. But I write songs about myself, obviously. Yeah. So that's kind of, maybe that's why I seem like a reflected person, even though I don't really think about myself that much. Yeah,
you're processing all of that subconsciously. Yeah.
I think I am.
I'm so in awe right now.
Sweet.
No, yeah.
I'm really happy that you came to the concert.
It was. Really cool. Thank you for having me there. Seriously. Yeah. Let's just talk about the show yesterday, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
You know, like it was a great show.
How fucking insane! I mean, it was so crazy. All the concerts are great. And yesterday was my last concert of a 2.5 months tour. Yeah. And my first American and Canadian tour. And like, I was expecting that as soon as I tell the people, like, this is my last show, and I'm like super pumped that we're gonna have like a great special show. But I came on stage, and before like doing anything, they just like flipped out. I've never had that before. Like, they didn't let me start the set because they just didn't stop cheering. And I was like, that's so nice for me, because I feel so lucky that was my last show, because it was like the best crowd we had actually on the tour.
Wow. I mean, there was a union through music yesterday. And that is one of the most beautiful ways for any union, you know.
It's so beautiful here in the States. I get to like see all the people's faces. Yeah. Because in Germany, I got big pretty fast, and so like on my first tour, I already played in front of like 500 people, and I didn't know what I was doing at all. Like, I've never had a show before. The first show I ever did was on a festival, and there was like 2,000 people, and I was like shitting my pants because I didn't know what I was doing. And just like learning with so many people in the room is very hard, because you like kind of disconnected from them. And then like now I play in front of thousands of people in Berlin, for example, and you don't really see their faces anymore because the venues get so big. And this American tour, we had like smaller, more intimate venues, and like sometimes 150 people. And I got to see everyone, and like, you know, I had light, and I saw like everyone's faces, and everyone's like smiling back at me the whole time. That's why I'm smiling all the time. Yeah. I'm like smiling throughout my whole set. It's so funny. Like, I forget that I do that, and then I see videos, and I'm like with this big, massive grin on stage all the time because I enjoy myself so much. But it's like, stop grinning. But it's very beautiful to see everyone, you know, like having a good time. I really like to play intimate shows, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just email you a story about a musician from India. It's just like, it's a really beautiful story, but if I start talking about it, it's going to take like a minute. But I'll just email it to you. But like you said, that in Germany you got big pretty fast, right? Like before, doesn't that create an idea within you? Like a separate idea, like there's Mogli who's an artist, and there's you know? Do you ever experience that? Because I meet so many people in my life, you know, who are artists, like of any kind, but they have that idea.
Well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's separate. I wouldn't say it's two people. Yeah. I would say the thing is, for me, my highest goal in my art is to make myself as vulnerable as possible. So that means I have to share a lot of myself with the people to make myself happy about my art. Because I only appreciate my own art if it's very real and raw and true to myself. So that means like the artist Mogli is myself. But of course I have parts in me also that I don't share with everyone, because like they're just for me or my family or my friends or like, you know. So it's more like I know that I'm never like acting.
No, that's not what I meant.
I know, but I know that like the Mogli artist is not separate from me.
Yeah.
But I do know that I have, you know, like things that I just like to keep for myself because, you know, otherwise it would be boring. Also,
Yeah, some secrets.
secrets are great. I love that.
Yeah.
Also, secrets with just yourself
Yeah.
are really cool. I had to learn that. I mean, like, I'm someone who wants to share everything with everyone at all times.
Yeah.
And, like, to have a secret is cool sometimes.
And writing doesn't help either, right? Like you're in a session, you're writing a song, and subconsciously you may just end up exposing some part of you, which works for your art and what you're going for, right?
But I'm also like that as a person, actually. Now that you say it, it's actually pretty funny. You can like go out and ask the other guys. I share like every detail of my life, and I don't give a fuck. Like with my friends, of course, because I'm just not very afraid of judgment in a way. Because I don't know. Well, I feel like if someone doesn't know me, then I'm like scared that they might judge me. But if they like get bits and pieces of my life that are very true, then they can like have a look at it and like make their decision if they like me or not. But I feel like I always have the urge to like share so many things, you know, like we're 8 people and I like run around the flat naked to the shower. Like we don't care. Literally, we don't. But it's beautiful. It's connecting. I'm like that at home also. I call my friends my pack. Yeah. We're like a pack of.
It's funny that you said that.
Gorillas.
Yeah.
Because we all like.
It's so
apes.
funny you said that right now because I was literally gonna ask you if you ever feel like, you know, like going to the jungle and creating in the jungle, or maybe have a show in the jungle, or like in a forest or something, you know.
Cool. That could, I mean, like
that would be.
Say no. Could be cool.
Electric forest in Michigan.
That sounds cool.
It's a thing.
Yeah, I think we should do that then.
Music festival in the forest.
Yeah, I mean, jungle sounds good. I might do that. But yeah, mostly build packs, guys. You know, life is better if you're not on your own.
Yeah.
And not everyone has the chance to be with people. So appreciate the people in your life that you have and that are there for you and like be there for them because it's really great to just like go through life together. I didn't mind this tour at all. I didn't mind to be with 8 people at all times. I love it. It's like, why would I be on my own if I can be with these lovely creatures?
That is beautiful. I don't know what to say. It's like it's
Let's meet in the jungle. Let's end it with that. Let's meet in the jungle and have a concert there.
Yeah, I'm so down.
Cool. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for the
No worries.